We're about to begin. Today's July 2nd at 6 p.m. Debbie, please call the roll.
Chairperson Archie.
Councilmember Archie here.
Oh, sorry. I'm off to a bad start.
Here we go again.
Councilmember Archie.
Here. No, I don't.
Councilmember Bax. Here. Councilmember Miles.
Here.
Councilmember Zajac.
Here.
Chairperson Perry.
Here. Tracy Bax will lead us in the exercises this afternoon.
O God, the Father of us all, we humbly beseech Thee in Thy wisdom and knowledge to guide and direct the deliberations of this council along the path of truth, justice, and righteousness, so that what it decides for the welfare of our citizens may also redound to Thy greater honor and glory. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have no public hearings tonight. We do have a presentation this evening from Niagara Falls Housing Authority and Beacon Communities on the planned renovations of Jordan Garden Apartments starting this fall. And they need a new pilot. So would the representative for Niagara Falls Housing Authority please step forward?
Hello, good evening, council members. My name is Tamara Allen Collins, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Niagara Falls Housing Authority. We are in the process of securing finances for a partnership with Beacon Communities to rehab the 100-unit Jordan Gardens development. And we are in need of updating and revisiting the pilot agreement that has existed since 1957. So at this point, I will pass it to my partner, Brian Sarama, and he will share details about what exactly it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. My name is Brian Sarama. I'm a Senior Development Director with Beacon Communities. We are the development partner of the Niagara Falls Housing Authority on the renovation of Harry S. Jordan Gardens here in Niagara Falls. The reason we are here today is because, yes, we are in the process of moving towards a closing on the renovation of this development this fall. And as required by our federal and state partners, we are in need of the city's approval of a new payment in lieu of taxes agreement or a pilot agreement for the project. In your packet, you'll find a host of information that we've provided that I hope will give you good background on this request, including a memo we've put together on sort of the history and the need, the existing pilot that has existed since 1957 at this property, as well as a draft of the new pilot agreement that we're proposing. A little bit about the project. Harry S. Jordan Gardens is a 100-unit family public housing development located here in Niagara Falls and owned and managed by the Niagara Falls Housing Authority. It was completed in the 1960s. So it has aged. It's in need of modernization and upgrades, and it has had no significant capital improvements due to the lack of funding that housing authorities and public housing face across this country, right? So in partnership with the Housing Authority and seeking to maximize resources available from the state of New York, Homes and Community Renewal. We are pursuing converting the Jordan Gardens development through HUD's Rental Assistance Demonstration Program, or the RAD program. This is a program that allows housing authorities to convert their public housing units to Section 8 project-based units, thereby allowing it access to these other state funds, such as the low-income housing tax credit, state subsidies, local grant programs and loans. We're partnering with, like I said, Homes and Community Renewal, who we are working to secure allocation of the low-income housing tax credit, as well as significant public housing preservation subsidies in order to do that. The renovation will include the rehab of all 100 existing units, including exterior upgrades, new roofs, windows, kitchens, baths, HVAC systems, as well as the construction of a new residence center on site that will house the Housing Authority's property management and maintenance staff, as well as provide community amenities such as a community room, fitness, shared laundry, reading room, et cetera, for the residents of Jordan Gardens. We've been meeting with the existing residents of Jordan Gardens over the last 2.5 years as we've worked together to move this project along in the state pipeline. We feel that they are excited and that we've had good reception to the development. We've met with them with our architects. We've brought in design concepts, layouts, whatnot for them to have input on and incorporate into sort of how they see the renovation of their homes going. We are working with, the project will require the temporary relocation of folks out of their units so that they can be rehabbed. So we have a dedicated relocation coordinator on site working one-on-one with each household to understand their rights under RAD, such as the right to return, as well as any other sort of rights and obligations that they have during this process that we are setting up for construction later this fall. All that to say, we're looking to have approvals, including this pilot agreement, by the start of September, so that we can close on all financing and start construction in October for approximately a 20-month staggered by groups of buildings construction period. To do so, HUD and Homes and Community Renewal, HCR, require that we update this pilot. Pilots are a good way for municipalities to help housing authorities and other affordable housing developments ensure affordability in the rents, maintain high level of operations long term. Like we said, this project has an existing pilot for the public housing that's dated back to its inception. And just given the RAD conversion and the switch to the Section 8 based model, we are here to request that we just update that pilot agreement in form and keep that relationship going. The new structure, we are proposing a little bit of a restructure to the way that payment is currently calculated. Currently, the payment is subject to 10% of shelter rents, which is essentially the tenant-paid portion of rents factoring in utilities. Under the current public housing, that varies by household circumstance. And as we move to a Section 8 based model that's based on percentage of income, our preliminary calculations that you see in your packet suggest that the amount of the increase that we would see is unsupported by the project's operating budget as we try to maintain affordable rents as well as deal with other large ticket operational expenses that we've seen go up in recent like insurance and things of that nature, right? So what we're trying to do here is provide a new structure that not only benefits the city by providing a bit more in what the Housing Authority has been paying in the payment in lieu of taxes every year, but also something that's sustainable over the course of the pilot agreement that we're proposing under the new RAD conversion. And that is essentially in year one after completion, starting with a $20,000 year one payment that increases by 3% each year. The full schedule is included in your packets in the draft pilot agreement, running for a course of 30 years. I will say these pilot agreements, like I said, required by HUD, required by HCR to move forward with these deals. We can't close on financing and rehab Jordan Gardens without it. Pilots are common across the state and elsewhere with these deals as we, as a necessary item on the operational side to maintain feasibility. And many affordable housing developments here in Niagara Falls are currently subject to pilots. So, it is a common practice to these types of projects, and so we hope that you will take our request into consideration and hope that you will continue the long-term partnership with the pilot agreement that you have had for decades with the Niagara Falls Housing Authority. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. We can't ask any questions during the presentation, but if you stick around later on, you might get questions. Or we do have your email if we want to have any questions.
Would you
too.
like to
So thank you
just
very
discuss
much.
outside?
Appreciate it.
Would you like me to stick around, or would you like to talk off?
It's up to you, but
Okay.
we do have your email in case we need to get a hold
All
of
right,
you.
thank
So
you very much.
Thank you. Okay. We're now at the portion of the agenda set aside for comments on agenda items. I will remind you, we have a set of rules. Please be familiar with them printed on the agenda. And this section is for agenda items only. With that being said, would the clerk please call the first member?
The first speaker looks like Tim. Thank you, Tim. From Ashland Avenue, agenda item 5, 8, and 9.
Thank you. Starting off first, I was here 2 weeks ago. I asked for an item to be tabled, which was item number 9, regarding the reorganization of DPW and the Public Works. As I stated back then, I was unsure if it was going to cause a PERB charge agreement. A PERB agreement complication, but I was found to be that is not the case. However, the day after that last council meeting, I was at the Civil Service Commission meeting, and I had a conversation with the Civil Service Commissioners as well as the HR director, who happens to be the secretary for the Civil Service Commission. And during that discussion, it was determined that this reorganization cannot take place until the Civil Service Commissioners actually discuss and approve this job change for the job duties. This job is a civil service position within a municipality, therefore it does require that, and that was confirmed through the three commissioners that were on the Civil Service Commission. So I'm going to ask again that you pull this. I'm sorry, I have to apologize. If I would have gotten the agenda sooner, I would have emailed all of you. I did email the city administrator this morning about this at 7:50 a.m., and I didn't get a response. So on behalf of the union, I'm going to ask that be pulled again so that we can get that set through the proper procedure with the Civil Service Commission. Unfortunately, they're now switching their schedule to meet every other month, so it'll now be August before we have another meeting near the end of August. The other one is number 5. Item number 5 is a change order to give some of the properties, the Blue Cardinal properties, I believe they're known as, 47 of those properties. The city is proposing to give that work a change order to KJ Smith Enterprises, who does currently have a contract to cut some of the city overgrown vacant lots that are too large or too nasty. We have a Zoom team that does that, and they're overwhelmed right now. But they want to pay a change order of $17,000 to cut 47 lots 3 times this year. Our DPW crews could do that. I don't understand why the city is going straight to a contractor as opposed to approach the union to try and get some kind of thing, because obviously the union employees that currently work for the city can get those done cheaper. But that brings me up to where I don't understand why it is we have a workforce that is shorthanded right now. As everybody's aware, it's no secret. The city workforce has been depleted. You guys have, in the past couple of years here, a couple of months, I've got July 5th of 2024, you were asked to approve an MOA to assist with the recruiting new patrol officers and improving the competitiveness in the labor market. There was a raise that was given.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
The next speaker is Melissa. I can't read the address.
Melissa
For
Valley.
agenda item number 14.
which item was that?
Number 14?
14, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna hold it. Sorry about
You
that.
can probably hold
Yeah.
that, it might be easier for you. Just hold it in your hand.
Everyone else had it working right. I messed it up. Apologies about that. So good evening. My name is Melissa Valley. Sorry about the handwriting. I'm an attorney at Hutter, Seacrest, and Emery. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, 11th Street Properties LLC, who's seeking a text amendment.
I can't hear you.
Can we move the mic a little closer to
Sure.
her? Or could you guys?
I'm here on behalf of applicant 11th Street Properties LLC, who's seeking a text amendment text amendment to Section 1319 of the city's zoning code. And again, this is item number 14 on the agenda this evening. This request is made in accordance with Section 1302.4 of the zoning code, which is the amendment section. The purpose of which, and I will just quote, this section is intended as a tool to adjust the provisions of the zoning ordinance and the official zoning map in light of changing, newly discovered information, conditions, situations, or knowledge. And as I mentioned, the applicant is 11th Street Properties LLC, who submitted this application pursuant to Section 1302.4.1B2, which allows an application to be submitted by an individual property owner, and in this case, an owner that owns well over 150 different properties within the city. As contained within this submission, the applicant has provided the requisite information in accordance again with that Section 1302.4. And as indicated in the resolution, this is a complete application. I recognize that there's a limited purpose for this item to be on the agenda this evening, and that this is really the first step this item has to take. We understand that it'll go before the planning board and have a public hearing, and they will issue a recommendation, and then we will be back before this council for final approval. So I just want to take 1 minute, apparently, to just give a quick overview. This request asks the city to amend certain and limited portions of Section 1319 of the zoning code, which is the high energy use overlay district law, so that the city has greater flexibility regarding the location of high energy uses. We note that when this council enacted the law originally, I believe in 22, some members who are sitting on the council today recognize that this law may need to be revisited, and our position is that the time is now to revisit this law. So attachment A has the revised Section 1319, and it's in red line form. Again, it's seeking very minor adjustments, which will fully empower the city council, the planning board, the city in general, to have increased flexibility citing high energy uses. And then we also proposed certain modifications to the noise restrictions, which we believe have proven to be infeasible. There's an ambient study, which is in Section B, a noise study, which showing the ambient noise levels are actually higher than the restrictions in Section 1319. And my time has
Thank you,
expired.
Melissa.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tom Zadowski. He's from Buffalo, and he's gonna speak to agenda item number 7.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Tom Zawatsky, and I represent the group that is developing Hotel Niagara Development LLC. I wanted to provide you a quick update on the project. We have secured financing, the franchise, and we're ready to begin redevelopment in the next couple of months. The hotel will be brought back to its previous grandeur, a full-service hotel that will include a large event hall, restaurant, rooftop bar, and more high-end features. The project will take approximately 18 months with a target opening of March 2027. And the last piece that we need to close the financing and the franchise is the parking agreement that you'll be voting on this evening. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Tom. Our fourth speaker is Frank Hanley, 21st Street, and I don't know what that, 3 and 10?
Yes, 3 and 10. So 3 deals with the the laundry system that costs almost $20,000 from George's Appliances. In regards to the dog shelter, where we're spending $4.5 million. My concern and my question is this additional funds being requested for the furnishing of the building, or is this being funds that we already have secured that's being allotted to this venue? Because to spend $4.5 million, y'all approved that, now we're adding on piece by piece. I would have a concern about that. I'll bring my second item up being the Sub-Mackley Stadium in regards to now having to do a adjustment to the contract because we did not equate maintenance of the turf, which now speaks to the way we handle our business as a city. In this full agenda today, there's a lot of redoing of contracts, which means that somebody somewhere isn't doing their due diligence to see what it takes to handle the agreements that we're making, which now means that if we're not doing that now, it's proven in this agenda how many times we're going back for trees, back for this, back for that. What are we about to do with this Centennial Park concept? Are you doing your due diligence in full to find out what it takes, not just to build, not just for downtown, but to find out what it takes to maintain? And is that being equated in the conversation? Our history has proven that we are not done our due diligence in this area. I encourage you and I implore you that going forward that we do. This is just the agenda that's on this outline today truly shows we got to come back for trees. We got to come back for turf. We got to come back for additional contracts of money we already allotted. And we're wondering why we get money and it ain't going nowhere. We're not handling it well. So my encouragement is that you really kind of review what the decisions that we're making and that we're truly vetting every decision and not just going off a whim or an incomplete feasible study that doesn't include everybody. I got 38 seconds. And shout out to the Niagara Falls Authority who talked to the community for 2.5 years to find out what they wanted, what they needed to make something happen. We're missing a component. Take a lesson or two. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Vanny. She's going to speak, I think that's a V. Janine. Is it Janine? I'm sorry, Janine. It looked like a V. I got the last name, Gallo. And she's going to speak on item number 3.
I'm Janine,
It looks like Vanny.
2070 Cayuga Drive. I'm here to talk about, once again, the dog shelter. Dog shelter, which the 3 yeses, the 3 amigos, voted on paying someone $8,000 to say, yes, that's good, $13,000 for something else, $100 and something for an architect. Nobody's seen anything yet. I think a month or so ago, I suggested maybe for $4.5 million, you could fence in the area for the safety. It's 4th of July weekend. If anybody's listening out there and you want to make a lot of money, let your kids play in that building. It's 2 cones, and it's wide open. Over to the left, where the hockey thing is, that's why we're talking about Agenda 3, there's an old stand, like bleachers, all broken up. If I had more time on my phone, it died. There was a fox standing on top of it. Again, that 4th of July will probably be a kid cutting himself on metal. But now, I want to make clear the $4.5 million of the state-of-the-art dog park that you don't even know you could have it in there, just like the hockey arena that you're building or whatever you're building. Is that going to come with the fridge for the new employee that you hire, or the microwave, the toaster, maybe a bed, maybe a car? What else are you going to buy for somebody that you're just supposed to build a building Put the kennels in there in case they give you a 60-day notice and tell you to take a hike, that you could get somebody in there right away. But as far as a washer and dryer, we have a washer and dryer at Paws in the Falls that was for free because it was donated. It's commercial. It's $1,600. Do you know how many you could break and just put a new one in for $30,000? You don't need that much of a washing and drying if you take the dogs out for a walk, clean up after them. It's called poop bags, okay? But if you leave them in like the old shelter for 24/7 in a dark room, stacked on top of each other behind a grooming room, yes, you need a lot of towels to clean up that piss and shit. But other than that, $30,000 for a washer and dryer, you know common sense. Common sense tells you that's ridiculous. And you should not provide anything, no matter who goes and, well, we all know who's going to run everything, but why are you making taxpayers pay for a washer and dryer? I mean, I know you got the 3 guaranteed yeses, but it's almost embarrassing to the poor city that you keep piling this on. Some of you, the yeses were worth it. You're going to go live in Florida, get a pension higher than ever, and it was worth it. The agenda of 10 parcels. But come on, you're killing the people.
Thank you, Janine. Our next speaker is number 6, Tanya Barone, and she's going to speak on 2, 3, 4, 5, and 13.
Good evening. We kind of touched on a few of these agenda items, so I won't go over them in completion like I had planned. Number 2, the appliances. ARPA interest. I had asked Chairman Perry before the meeting started if this was a separate allotment aside from the over $4 million that we already designated, and we came to the conclusion that the word interest is exactly what it means. So it is a separate allotment for these appliances. I don't understand, like others have said, why we are outfitting this shelter with top-of-the-line Cadillac of all appliances, washer and dryer, that is $18,000. My head spun around. I thought I was going to spit out pea soup when I seen that number because, like Janine said, they're towels. You're going to wash and dry towels, and you shouldn't have that much mess if you're taking care of animals. You could easily buy something that's cheaper and buy 30 of them as they break over the course of years and years and years. You could even buy extended warranties. It still won't be $18,000. It's in a ridiculous amount of money. Just because what? Because we have it? We could spend it on something else. And we're only going to lease it to somebody and give them a contract anyway. So let them buy their own washer and dryer. I don't think they'll spend $18,000. As far as item number 4 with the lead abatement, are we talking about scraping and painting? Because that's usually how you rectify lead-based paint is scraping and painting. It seems like a very exorbitant amount of money for remediation. Are we removing lead pipes? Are we doing that? I didn't see anything in there about that. That was another question I had. Number 5, the trees. Wow, 48, even if we went with the lowest price of $48, 3 cuts would be $6,768, which would take us up to September. If we did the $55, which I'm thinking those parcels are city parcels, they're not over an acre, $7,755. Why are we designating it as $17,000? Number 13, I'm going to get right to that Centennial Park. 9.8 acres. Do we own half this or not? What is the outcome? Do we even have any information? And that is a blanket study, that feasibility study, that you could literally put a different picture and a name on it, and it would go for any project. There's not enough data in there, not enough information. It's poorly written. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Our last speaker for agenda items is Vincent Cawley, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 13.
I was gonna say y'all, but just I figure I'd make it easy. Real quick, let's get low, let's get fast. Dog shelter again. So that we're buying stuff. So city council, y'all gonna show me a drawing, right? A 3D architectural drawing. How about a crayon sketch? How about a napkin? What are we paying for? It's just being jammed down our throats. What are we doing? Eminent domain. I would expect that a team owner or some sort of consortium of not taxpayers would say, Niagara Falls, we want to put a team there and we'll help you build the stadium. Oh, Vincent, no one would say that. Wait a minute. Didn't somebody with a data center say, hey, Niagara Falls, we like it and we want to build a $1.5 billion data center in Niagara Falls? Didn't that happen? Lead testing and abatement control. Same thing. What? Did we get a line item list? Did we get a certain number of houses, a certain amount of square footage, a certain amount of volume that we're going to do this lead testing, abatement, control for this amount of money? All big ups to Habitat for Humanity. But come on, man. We cannot be serious. And then agenda items 5, 8, and 9. Why are we piecemealing DPW functions? It was mentioned before. We don't have any workers, but let's go get contracts for people who we should hire to do the work. I'm not the smartest man in the world. All shout out to DPW. Love those dudes. But why let's feed them. Let's feed them. Give them some work. If we got to contract these people, why not just hire our own guys? And now they have more. And now they have work to do. We already know they have work to do because we gotta hire them. And a plan would be, okay, if you have 20 trees and you have 5 people, you could do, just making up numbers, a certain amount of trees a day. But since you don't have 5, doesn't say we have 1, they can still do things per day. It's just slower. But you just let the people know, here's the schedule, here's what we're doing, and we'll get to you based on our schedule. But in the meantime, we're hiring people to help us increase that flow. Doesn't that just make sense? Thank you.
Thank you. That's the end of the speakers.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have any administrative updates this evening?
Just a couple things. First of all, I had a very good conversation with our dog control officer, Don Booth, this afternoon, and he gave me a report on the temporary dog shelter on Grand Island, which has now been in operation for about 2 months. I'm happy to report that since Don Booth took over the 8 dogs that were remaining at the Pitchick shelter 2 months ago, up until today, there have been no dogs euthanized. Now, there's a lot of rumors flying around in social media, and I suppose in other forums, and the story goes that it's a kill center. That's not the truth. Don Booth had wonderful success in finding houses for dogs. And I have to give a shout out to the SPCA because they have been very helpful to Mr. Booth in that effort, and also a shout out to the multiple rescues, pet rescues, who have also helped. I don't think Mr. Booth could have the success he's had in the last 2 months without their assistance, so they certainly deserve a lot of credit. But I'm also pleased and surprised that there has been no necessity to use that part of the contract with our shelter on Grand Island, the Pet Lodge, for additional space. So Mr. Booth has managed to move dogs through the rescues and SPCA without going over the 10 kennels. Now, past performance is no guarantee of future success. I can't say what the next couple months will bring, but we're keeping our eye on it, and so far, so good. If there's additional information 30 days from now, I will share it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, and keep you posted. Second item, since the subject of DPW's staffing has come up with a couple different speakers, I want to promote the idea that if you know someone over 18 who's willing to work outdoors, you don't necessarily have to live in the city, but that would be preferred because it is part-time work. DPW is currently looking to double the size of their clean team. Now, double may sound like a very large number of people, but currently the clean team is 4 people. 4 people. So the idea that the clean team could somehow find the time to cut the URA's properties is preposterous. That aside, though, it would be nice to have a second team operating this summer. So seriously, if you do know a young man or young woman who doesn't mind rolling up their sleeves and getting their hands dirty, maybe operating some equipment like mowers and brush cutters, things like that, please have them contact the Human Resources Department to get an application, because we are actively looking to make those hires as soon as possible. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now at the section for community happenings announcements, do we have anyone with announcements of community events? No. I would like to make a statement. We have the 4th of July coming up, and although we have regulations that we're supposed to have quiet time after 11 p.m. at night, the fireworks are going off all the time, and we don't have the police force to go around chasing everybody that fires off a firecracker. But I'd just like to ask the population of the city to please try and respect the hours of celebration to the daytime hours or the hours before 11 p.m. Okay, with that, moving on. We're now at section 4 of the agenda. We've had the agenda items since Saturday. Are there any motions to amend the agenda by roll call vote? If not, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda as proposed? Okay, Tracy seconds. David made the motion. Okay. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Archie. Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, the motion's carried. We're now at section number 5. So I will, since we've had the agenda and all the minutes since Saturday, I won't ask the secretary or I won't ask the clerk to read the minutes thank God. But reviewing the minutes from May 22nd and June 4th, 2025. Are there any notations for correction from anybody? If not, we'll let the minutes be approved as distributed. We're now at section 6. Anything from the clerk's office tonight?
No, there's nothing to report from the clerk's office.
Okay, moving on to legislative items. Agenda 7. From the Office of the Mayor, may I have a motion for legislative item number 1?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve the waiver and forgiveness of unpaid city taxes on 6 vacant city-owned properties before the same are sold, as is, to David M. Centofanti, and authorize the mayor to execute any deeds or other documents necessary to effectuate the transfer of the said properties to that purchaser, all is more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
Is there a second? Opposition? Information request? No opposition, no opposition, okay. Okay. Call the roll.
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Maya.
Before I vote, I actually went to go visit the owner, and so it's not any kind of misrepresentation as to what's going on. These are not homes that are being given to anyone. These are this is property that's next to his business that has been dumped. People have been coming dumping tires and all kind of craziness on his business, and near his business, and it's basically he just wants to flatten it out, put a fence around it to stop people from dumping on that space, and he's purchasing the land, so it's not like he's buying houses. So we just want to clear that up, because that's been something, we're giving away houses. This is not a house. These are no homes or no livable spaces in there. This is just pieces of land that's next to his business. And so I understand, and he's been taking good care of that space for years now. So for him to do that and ask to purchase it, I think it only makes sense, so I vote yes as well.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
Guess what? My battery's dead. Try again. Batteries are dead.
Yeah, it was acting funny.
Okay, how's that? Better? Okay. Okay, legislative item number 1 is adopted. Legislative item number 2, may I have a motion, please?
I move the council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with the successful RFQ respondent, George's Appliance and Television, to purchase new equipment for the city dog shelter now under construction, as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
Is there a second? Information requests? Opposition?
So, aside from the fact that it's a very big possibility that we're violating parkland alienation laws by putting a dog sheltering service in our park, I just did some research, and Mr. Hyde, who was a member of the community, wasn't a part of local government, he donated what would be considered close to like $80,000 way back when, between Michigan Avenue all the way to Pine Avenue, for that space to be, and it was unused land at the time, for it to be just a park. So today, we're deciding to put something there that does not represent the initial use of that space, called Hyde Park. So aside from the fact that we possibly violating different like alienation, park alienation laws, we're going against the whole principle of what that place, that space, Gill Creek, the space, the creek area, all of that was meant to be just a park. And we're creating a job for someone else in our park, in our flagship, the second largest in the state of New York. I think we are doing, and that's why I feel like we're doing a disservice. A disservice. This is another thing that's being forced down our throat. I think we could have done better. I think we have other spaces. If we're going to get our own dog shelter, other than our park, that's next to where our children play, that's next to the ice pavilion, that's next to a lot of the different things that, you know, make our veteran monument space. All of that is in that same space, and then we're going to use that same area to bring surrendered dogs. We're going to hold another liability. This is another liability. So when someone gets bit, along with all of these other, you know, lawsuits that we keep having to pay people out due to our, you know, neglect and the things that we should be doing that we're not doing, when that happens, who's going to be to blame? Some of us may not even be here. And guess what? That's going to be your legacy. That's going to be your legacy. When someone gets hurt, is it going to take for somebody's kid to get bit by some dog? And just how we do business overall. Just let's just think about it. We don't take the people under consideration. These are tax dollars, 4.2 to 4.5, however many of that. Even if it is, guess what? Even if it is the interest that's built on it, on monies that's left over from the ARP funds. It's sad that we don't utilize funding in the space, and I still can't even justify spending $4 million on an existing building. $4 million. So I can't even within myself, I cannot vote yes for anything that supports this when we haven't done what we needed to do to make sure that we're not violating these laws, that we're not violating the initial reason as to why we even have this space. That it's a park. It's not a dog shelter service. It's not a grocery store. You can't go build a grocery store on Hyde Park, can we? So for the things that we're not supposed to build on this space that it was meant to be, where Mr. Hyde had his hard-earned money as a citizen of Niagara Falls, put it just for us to be able to have that park, we should not bypass those things. So overall, that's my objection. We should definitely have thought this through before we actually done this, you know what I mean?
I'd like to respond to part of that anyways. I believe, and I'm not an attorney, so I'm not even going to pretend like I'm one, but I believe the law is that a park has to be set aside for public use, and with an animal shelter or a dog shelter, and we're required to have a dog shelter for the city of Niagara Falls, that would be for public use. So I think under those grounds, it's not illegal to have a dog shelter or animal shelter in the park. But, so, that is my pro.
So, Mr. Boyd, I do have a question, because I know this was brought up previously, that we are violating New York State park alienation laws with the dog shelter. Although when it was brought up previously, and I say New York State, I believe it was the Connecticut law that was cited. Are we, in this instance, violating New York State park alienation laws?
So the research that my office has done, categorically the answer is no. I realize that people who don't want to see the dog park, the dog shelter in the city won't trust or believe what I just said. And they're entitled to their opinions. But the legal opinion that I have is the one I gave you. And if there was seriousness to this opposition, they would have taken action, stepped forward before the building even started getting constructed. They would have made their arguments in court or elsewhere to prevent the council from making the investment that it chose to make. So it's a little late, and I don't think it has any merit.
So listen, yeah, the train has left the station for the dog thing, and like I don't think anybody's saying no, we shouldn't have one. And I'm not even trying to. I think it's just because it's in the park, just a moral thing with the park. Like I don't believe it should be in the park at all. But that's not the question on the agenda right now. We're talking about a washing machine. Can we get back to that piece?
Correct.
Let's get back to the washing machine.
Okay, with that, please call the roll.
Whatever.
Councilmember Archie.
No.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
No.
Councilmember Duca.
Yes.
Excuse me, I gotta record this, love, please, or I'll get in trouble. Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
3 yeas, 2
2 yea-
nays.
Motion's carried. Action item number 3. May I have a motion? Could I ask for silence, please? We're going to call, we're going to, action item number 3. May I have a motion, please?
I move the council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with a successful RFQ respondent, Allianz Laundry Systems Distribution LLC, to purchase new equipment for the city dog shelter, now under construction, as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
We're going to call a recess in a couple minutes here. All right. Can I have a second, please? Information request. Opposition.
But once again, it's pretty much the same thing, so I'm not going to really regurgitate anything. But the reason why I make the mention of what I make is not because of washer and dryer. It's because we're voting on something that's going to support this building of the dog in the dog park, or built in our park, building the dog shelter in our park. So anything that we vote to say yes for is we're supporting the park, the dog shelter being built in the park. It's just that simple. We're not going to make things complicated. We're not going to sit here and try to paint any rose-colored glasses and make it seem like it's anything different. When we feel but trust and believe, when the ramifications hit, when the long-term ramifications hit, and when something happens, it's not going to be the council of 2025. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows who voted on what. Because it gets lost a lot of times. There's a lot of things that we're suffering from now that was voted on back in mid 2011, 2012, and those council members are no longer here, and it was the council that voted it in. No, at the end of the day, it's time to make sure that everybody knows exactly who's who. So I don't care what part of the world you're in. I don't care if you're retired or whatever. Your legacy is going to be made very known as to what it is that you vote on. And when you vote on this, and if somebody's child get bit, I'm gonna make sure that they know this is the person responsible. These 3 people are the people that are responsible for this. That's my opposition.
Okay, with that, please call the roll.
Councilmember Archie.
No.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
No.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
3 yeas, 2 nays.
3 yeas, motion's carried. Action item number 4. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve the grant of an additional $90,000 by community development to Niagara Area Habitat for Humanity, Inc., as well as authorize the execution of any documents necessary to effectuate the same, all as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information request? Opposition? Debbie, please call the roll.
Councilmember Archie.
Just before I vote, I don't have the number of homes, but I know it is paint.
Excuse me.
I know that there's paint, pipes, and window remediation. Anything with lead in it within the homes. I just don't have the amount of homes that will be tackled throughout the project. That's all, I believe. And my vote's a yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
So the way this was written up, it reminds me of one of the, because I know it was an agenda item before, it reminds me of one of those old commercials that if you can feed a child for 45 cents a day, and they had the young guy with in Africa with the fly and stuff, and it tried to make it look something. Here's the true story is this. I still don't understand how it went from 10,000 to 20,000. However, and my fight last time had more to do with us finding community development block grant funding for this, but not having our summer programs, have our summer programs cut for our kids. That was a problem for me. I guess the other new problem that I have now is that a lot of the people who operate these programs are not showing up here to talk to us about why. Because now I need to see, like I'm up here fighting for something, I need to see the people who are in charge of those programs fighting for these babies as well. So I'm not gonna go hard into that. At the end of the day, here we are. I believe that if it's something that we need to do, especially removing the lead, and like you said, thank you, Mr. Archie, for the windows, pipes, paint, and so on and so forth. Let's get it done. But we need to do a better job and do our due diligence to find out the first time exactly how much something is going to cost, because we have way too many times where we come back here and there's an issue, and then there's a new cost, or there's another item that's going to be coming up soon that's going to have the same thing. All right. So my vote is yes as well.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, the motion's carried. Legislative item number 5. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to execute a change order, number 1, to the agreement with KJ Smith Enterprises, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $17,000, such expense being necessary to pay the cost of additional lot clearing and cutting of parcels owned by the Niagara Falls Urban Renewal Agency as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second, please? No second? Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Okay, information requests. Opposition.
I would say why, and I guess I have to go with what Mr. Heater had brought up earlier, is why are we outsourcing if we can utilize our own DPW? I think that's very simple. So I think that's enough of an opposition for me. I don't have to go into any real strenuous details. How about we utilize the workers that we have, and so how about we utilize the workers that we have here in the city of Niagara Falls instead of outsourcing and padding the pockets of other companies. So that's my opposition.
I do have one thought on that. So previously, a few council meetings ago, this council denied DPW overtime for additional work. So I don't see, so that comes into play, and I think Councilman Miles, you were part of that.
I'll
So it
respond.
seems to make sense if we don't have the staff, this council didn't have the appetite then for the overtime, it makes sense we would have to get these lots by another source.
So I don't think it.
Hold on a second, I can't hear. I need to record it.
It was asking for overtime before the work even started, and
Right.
that was the opposition. It wasn't don't pay them. Like that was never a thing, at least for me. Give them the money, but let's see what happens when they do the work during their shift. They don't. Many of them don't do it. Like let's just keep it real. And what excuse me, Tim, appreciate you, definitely. But I'm gonna say this: I don't want to hear another resident call about grass and weeds and how they can't see past street corners and people getting hit on bikes and rodents and rats. If we say no, the phone's gonna blow up for real. It won't be about the 3 workers that aren't doing anything. It's gonna be the rest of the folks, some in here, that's gonna have something to say about this grass not getting cut.
And I
So,
do have a question. I believe these properties, when we first put this contract in place, were not owned by URA at that point, right? So these are additional. Is that right?
Many of the properties were just acquired by URA as a result of.
Which is the need for the additional work. Yeah.
And just a real quick response as to what Ms. Bax was talking about. My whole issue is I wasn't willing to spend money on a quick fix such as a pothole killer, which has not been effective as of now, since they've been doing it, ma'am. So at the end of the day, they're spraying crap into our streets, and then their cars are kicking it up. And I've been getting responses from the community in my text messages, in my email, in my inboxes, as of now, that pretty much, prove what I said was right. Is that the fact that this pothole killer was nothing more than a quick fix, that once you roll your car over, you can hear all of the crap hitting the back of your rear. So at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with us not wanting, or me not wanting to pay DPW, and I didn't have an appetite so-called to pay DPW back then or whatever the case is, and we turned down overtime. It's called making sure that whatever we do is efficient and effective. So that's what that is. Just to respond to what you say before you...
My understanding is that, talking to the DPW director, is this would be work that was going to the Dream Team anyways, if they were going to do that. It wouldn't necessarily, it has not been USW work. It has been, it's gone, cutting the grass and stuff, a lot of that's gone to the Dream Team. So I don't know what the argument is. Okay.
Is it clean? You talking about the clean team?
The clean team. Oh. Okay, with that,
Approving this will
call the
cause
roll.
litigation, I guarantee it.
Yes. Give them the money in overtime instead of announcing.
Call the roll.
Okay. Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
No.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Chairperson Perry,
Yes.
4 yeas, 1 nay.
4 yeas, the motion is carried. Action item number 6. May I have a motion, please?
I move the council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to negotiate and enter into an agreement with the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services to provide mandatory training and certification to our city firefighters in 2025, as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information request? Opposition? Call the roll.
Councilmember Archie,
Yes.
Councilmember Bax,
Yes.
Councilmember Miles,
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Chairman Perry,
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, the motion is carried. Legislative item number 7. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to negotiate and enter into a parking agreement with Hotel Niagara Development, LLC, as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information request? Opposition? Debbie, call the roll.
Councilmember Archie,
Yes.
Councilmember Bax,
Yes.
Councilmember Miles,
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Chairman Perry,
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, motion's carried. Action item number 8. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to execute a change order, number 1 final, to the agreement with M2 Tree Service, Inc. in the amount of $20,000, such expense being necessary to pay the cost of removing 4 additional trees under the said agreement as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information request?
So just to be clear, these are 4 trees added to the list that we got earlier in the year, along with some of these emergencies we've been fielding as of late?
Yes, the contractor has, we initially gave the contractor over 50 trees, most of them diseased Dutch elm trees, and that work has been completed. So these additional 4 trees, because they still have equipment here, they're able to address that.
Do we know where they are?
I don't.
How do we find out?
That's a question that should have been posed to the administration before the meeting.
Yeah, but it wasn't. And,
Yeah,
and like somebody should be here to talk about that. Okay.
Well, you've got time to ask questions before the meeting.
Time. We don't have to do that.
It's a special rule of the council.
We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that.
Okay. Opposition? Okay, Debbie, call the roll.
Councilmember Archie,
I abstain.
what was that?
I abstain.
Okay. Councilmember Bax,
Yes.
Councilmember Miles,
I don't want to deal with any possible litigation. And, yeah, no.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Chairman Perry.
Yes.
I have 3 yeas, 1 abstain, and 1 nay.
Okay, motion's carried. Item number 9. May I have a motion, please?
I move the council vote to approve reorganization of the Department of Public Works and of Parks and Public Works as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information requests?
Yeah, per what Tim said, this is a civil service job, Tom?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
No.
So all of these positions, like climber 3, the parks foreman, these are all civil service jobs.
Which to his point would need to be approved before we said go ahead and reorganize?
Well, I don't know that to be the case. The first time I'm hearing it is when Mr. Huther said that. I'm a little surprised that this conversation is described as happening with our Director of Personnel, Karen Abramitis, and I have received no information either from the 3 commissioners or from the secretary of that committee that would support what Mr. Huther has relayed.
I would motion to hold until we know. I would make a motion to hold until we get clarity. But, go ahead.
Brian, before you entertain that, I spoke with the District 4 I spoke with the District... I spoke with District 4 representative, the former
I can't hear
representative.
now. Please, everybody, or I gotta stop. I gotta stop the meeting. I have to record it. Please, please, I know, but let's try without people talking in the background, please. Sorry, I don't know who I cut off.
It doesn't matter, it's fine. Go ahead.
I spoke with Angelo, the District 4 representative,
Yeah.
and Jim Briggs, who was the retired representative of District 4, along with Mr. Huther this morning. I also spoke, I had text with the mayor and the department head, and I don't know the conversation that Tim had with the civil service, but from my understanding was that the civil service doesn't really have to say anything about the reorganization. It's the testing itself with the positions that they have to take, but as far as the reorganization, they don't have much to say about that, according to what I've been told. Now, maybe I've misunderstood something, I don't know, but that's what my belief is at this time. Now, we have tabled this once before to amend it. This is not the same. This is not the same item, so it didn't have to come off the table. What we did is we have a new item here from the last meeting, and we made changes in accordance to my conversation with the USW prior to it. So with that, if you still want to table it and do something, that's up to you, but I'm prepared to vote. So, what do you want to do, Brian?
I'm with it.
I mean, it's just a strong claim to make, and it's not true.
Well, I'm not saying it's not true.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like, let's just
Be sure.
be sure.
Right.
But that is a suit. That is a suit. We can say postpone to the last meeting, but when I think about it, it's not like we just got somebody to do something with extra trees. It's not like they're going out immediately. I don't know.
So did you want
Yeah, I would hold
you'll make a motion?
for clarity.
Are you
Make a
making
motion to hold,
put it on
postpone.
Table it?
I
Okay.
will.
Second.
Okay, I'm making a second.
So the motion to hold, not
To
table?
postpone.
The motion on the floor is to table the,
Postpone.
Postpone?
Postpone.
okay, and Dante Miles seconded. Okay. Okay, the motion on the floor is to table this item,
Postpone.
to postpone, okay. The motion on the table is to postpone item number 9. And we have a motion and a second, so it is the vote.
I have, so what I have Archie is motioning to postpone, but I'm not quite sure who seconded.
I seconded.
Dante Miles seconded.
Twisted up there. Thank you. Okay, we're going to vote on a motion to postpone. Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
In 4 years, we've voted many times on reorgs that involve civil service positions. I was ready and prepared to vote no.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairman Perry.
No.
I have 3 yeas, 2 nays. Motion's been passed to postpone.
Okay, the motion with postponement. Okay, item number 10. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to negotiate and enter into a memorandum of agreement with the Niagara Falls City School District relative to its maintenance of synthetic turf at Sale Magley Stadium as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second?
A second.
Information request? Opposition? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairman Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, the motion's carried. Item number 11. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve and authorize the mayor to negotiate and enter into an amendment of the 2022 agreement between Buffalo Niagara Waterkeeper and the City of Niagara Falls for ecological restoration projects in the city as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information request? Opposition? Debbie?
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
This is just another example of let's get it done right the first time, so we don't have to come back for an additional $10,000, but yes.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairman Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, motion's carried. From Corporate Council, action item number 12. I have a motion, please.
Yes, I move the council vote to rescind the adoption of a prior related agenda item and approve a $135,000 indemnity only, Section 32, settlement relating to 2 pending workers' compensation matters as more fully outlined in the Acting Corporation Council's recommendation memo dated June 26, 2025.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information requests. Opposition? Debbie?
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairman Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, motion's carried. Action item number 13. May I have a motion, please.
Yes, I move the council vote to approve resolution relative to authorizing the presentation of a written offer to acquire real property pursuant to eminent domain procedure law 303 and 304.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information request. Opposition?
Mr. Du Bois, just very quickly, the Parkland lawsuit, that is still currently going on, correct?
It is. It's in pretrial discovery phase, which means that there's exchange of documents between the attorneys. Some depositions are being scheduled. So it's in the early stages of litigation. And once they complete discovery, there'll be an opportunity to make motions for summary judgment. If those motions, depending on those motions go, will determine the direction of the case.
Could be for anybody, but since the feasibility study and everything came out, since this last came up, has there been any updated financial commitment or anything like that from the state or investors or?
No. From the state, not yet.
Opposition?
Yeah, so, one, this has way too many contingents of what ifs. There has not been appraisal publicly presented to us. And it's not something that I believe that should be done in the back room. I feel like this is something that is going to be a taxpayer's. Right now, at this point, it's on the taxpayer's dime. No projections as how this is going to affect our city in the future, as it pertains to, fiscal responsibility. How is this going to affect us 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line? Where are we going to get $4 million to pay, let alone $200+ million to build this center? The feasibility study, it says that we could put a event center there. It doesn't say if it's feasible financially for us to put it there. It doesn't say exactly how much we're going to be able to make as we're talking about, and we're basically hoping that a country that doesn't buy bread from us now, go to the outlet mall, go to Target, go to Walmart and see how few Ontario plates that you're going to find out there. They're not coming here. So if we look at just the basics of that, and then we're going to say that we're going to, and again, we still I'll talk about that later. I feel like this is not responsible. I don't feel like I think we're doing an injustice. We haven't really surveyed the community at large, because 95% of the people that have reached out to me, and I'm not the entire community, so I'll put that out there, but they have made it clear that this was not something that they want. And then there are people who actually build these stadiums that made it clear that we would possibly be losing anywhere between $400,000 to $500,000 a year just by building that there. We have, let's say, and we're building it right across, again, I've made it clear even to the mayor as well. We're building it right across from the Seneca Nations. Their event center is a funnel to the real money. We're using what they use as a funnel as if it's the real money. We're basically funneling people into the casino. We don't have any real compatibility. We can't compete. We don't, KeyBank Center, KeyBank Arena, Shay's Performing Arts. Oh, it's gonna be a amphitheater, Bison Stadium. They do concerts all summer long. Art Park, they have a hard time filling their space up. Casino, they're giving away tickets. Guess why? Because they have upfront money. They have I said it before, they have 3 to 4 slot machines that's gonna pay for any event that they bring there. At the end of the day, they're not looking for money up. So what happens is we do this, we're banking and we're praying and we're going to cross our fingers and put a horseshoe and a rabbit's tail in our pocket and hope that we can get ticket sales, where these other places, they have to give away tickets. At the end of the day, I've said this before, I find it just weird that we're diving nose first we dove nose first without a feasibility study. Some of us actually supported this before the talk of a feasibility study, before there was even an appraisal, the talk of an appraisal. So how do we do that? How do we do that so blindly? So at that point, it makes me wonder. I'll talk about that. At the end of the day, this doesn't make sense, and it's not something that, and we're not being totally honest with the residents. And I feel like right now, as a governing body, we're doing a disservice. We're not being transparent. We're not being responsible. We're not being what we campaigned on when we ran.
Mr. Chairperson. Did you have to? Go ahead.
What I was going to say is that as of 3 o'clock today, we have had a second league has contacted the administration wanting to know how they can be part of this hockey league coming in with the Ontario Hockey League. Now Now, as our secretary, Mr. Spanbauer, has sent us, and I've sent it out to all members of the council, the benefits of a sports arena / entertainment center of this nature. If everybody would read that, I think it would help out quite a bit. But, Mrs. Ajak, go ahead.
Mr. Chairperson, as this came up last time, my question was feasibility study, which we now have, as well as the financial commitment, which as of right now is still up in the air. So I would once again make a motion to postpone this item until we get more information on the financial.
That makes sense. I'll second.
David has made a motion to postpone. And Dante Miles seconded it. Okay, this is a vote for postponement of item number 13.
Correct. Vote for postponement, item number 13. I have the motion, Zajac, second Miles. Councilmember Archie, to postpone.
No. No.
Councilmember Bax, to postpone.
Right, this would be the second postponement, am I correct on that?
Correct.
Right, second. So I don't know what will change between now and the next council meeting, but, you know, we knew this was the next step in the process. It was no secret, so no.
No. I'm gonna tell you why.
Councilmember Miles.
So overall, I do believe in doing things in the spirit of excellence and decency and in order, and making sure that, you know, before we vote on anything that is going to possibly cause the city lots of money, 9 to 10 million in just interest alone. No one's talking about that. I think that if we're going to represent the entire city, I think that we should at least, and I totally agree, at least make sure that we have all of the information. And if there's something that is not available here or not available there, that we should definitely postpone it. At bare minimum, I was ready to vote no for it anyway, but at least to get the information. And I think that's fair not only for us as council, but that's fair for the people as well. So I say yes to postpone.
Yes, Ms. Lewis.
Councilmember Zajac.
And respectfully, what I would hope would you learn between, maybe not in the next council meeting, but by the time that it's all put together, is that there's a financial commitment from the state, private investors, whoever it may be.
Right.
That was my reasoning for postponing it again. My vote was yes.
That's a good reason. That's a good reason.
Chairman Perry?
No.
We have 3 noes to postpone. Defeated, thank you. I'm going to call the roll for the motion. I'm sorry, for the original.
Okay.
Calling the roll for the original item number
Okay.
13.
We're at item 13. The motion to postpone has been defeated.
Correct.
We are now moving to the, we've already gone through the information on item number 13. Is there any request for any more information? And opposition? Okay, call the roll.
Councilmember Archie.
Hold up before I vote. So this resolution for me is allowing the mayor to go have a conversation about this money. We haven't written a check, we haven't approved a check going out the door. Whether it's a data center or event center or whatever it is that we're talking about, which both could work in some way, shape, or form. I'm at fighting for the land. We've had a developer sit on our land for 30 plus years. And I think we should be trying to nudge them to do something with it. Not the proposal they're bringing to the table to say, like, here's the shiny thing, let's go ahead and do it. But let's really stick a shovel in the ground and let's build something. I posit right now that there are other people that provide data centers that we as a council probably should be having a conversation about to maybe invite them to come and look at Niagara Falls if we want a data center so bad. I think we could also sit down and have a conversation about some of these people that do events and sports centers, if that's something that we want. Brother Hanley talked about community, which is critical, right? And we know that that fell way short. We as a council can allocate money for a consultant to go out and rally community for whatever it is that they want. But waiting until the day of a vote, an hour before, to have a conversation about something, that's not tenable for me. If we want to discuss something, we need to understand that we have to talk before today, weeks ago, and try to get on the same page, even if we disagree. Even if we disagree, it's okay to do that, right? I can't be lobbied in an hour. It just doesn't work. So, like, for me, we're telling the man, go ahead, have a conversation. Still have to come back for a check, and we still have to decide whether or not we're going to do that. And if I'm fully understanding what the developer has already put out there is what they think the land is worth, it's going to be an issue anyway. But we're going to figure it out. So if we want to get together and do something, we should probably do that and let them handle what they're handling. My vote's yes. Yes, Ms. Lewis.
Councilmember Bax.
Let's go.
Yeah, this conversation is, just as Councilman Archie said, about a conversation. We're not writing a check. We're not voting to write a check. We're voting on the next step in the process, and which I believe there will be a lengthy process. You know, in Niagara Falls, we have to, you know, this is prime land, this is good land, nothing's been done with it at this point up to now. And, you know, we have to take ownership of our own destiny sometimes, and we have to, you know, fight for ourselves versus waiting for everybody else to come in and do it for us. I vote yes to move it along.
Councilmember Miles.
The whole idea of actually fighting for land. I just went to an event, yesterday it was, beautiful event, of a new space that was open. And then I looked right across the street, yeah, and I looked right across the street from that same space where all of this good celebration was going on, and I seen city-owned property that's lived in by squatters and not really taken care of and ready to fall down. So when we talk about fighting for land, I have a problem with that because of the simple fact is we do a piss poor job of handling the land that we own now. So when we have issues and when we have people writing to us in our emails talking about city-owned properties that's overgrown or that's not being taken care of by the city, and we're talking about, and I heard the mayor multiple times say, well, even if we don't do the event center, at least we'll have the land. Well, do we need more land that we don't take care of already? So I think that's, for me, the whole idea of fighting for land when we really don't handle our own property that the city of Niagara Falls own now. We do a horrible job of taking care of that now. And I'm gonna use the mayor's words. We are not developers.
Right.
The city of Niagara Falls is not developers. Our local government body is not a developer. We're here to govern. We're here to decide. We're here to decide where this money is going to be spent. But we're not developers. We're not building buildings and skyscrapers and monuments. We're not doing that. So overall, because I feel like it's hypocritical for us to even point our finger, even let's say at NFR. Let's say, yeah, okay, they didn't develop anything. What have we developed? What have we allowed any developers to come in the city of Niagara Falls to develop? We've been business unfriendly for decades and still are to this day. So until we actually, what they say, you know, it's a song that says, sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. Let's make sure that we do that first before we start pointing our fingers at Mr. Milstein or anybody else. Because the city of Niagara Falls looks the way it looks, not just because of what they haven't done, but it's because of what we allow to and the neglect that we've intentional neglect. It has nothing to do with them. Their land, he cuts his grass. He cuts his grass. Yeah, the buildings might be boarded up, but his grass is cut. It says a lot more than us. So before we start pointing fingers of judgment, let's make sure that we look at ourselves and look at that reflection in the mirror called Niagara Falls government and make sure that we do what we're supposed to do first before we start talking about, yeah, we need to take your land because you're not doing what you're doing, what we think you should do with it. So, is this a vote?
Yeah.
That would be no. That would be a no. That would be a healthy no for me. I'm sorry. I went a little bit. Oh.
Miles, no. Councilmember Zajac.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this topic and this vote through a healthy debate and conversation amongst council members. I've said it to a couple council members, I think we have a lot more common ground than this conversation may have given the perception of. In that same breath, I hope our local news outlets show both sides of that coin and not just the numbered vote. Same side, I've said to my colleagues, the administration, and residents alike, I am for the concept of an event center. And I wholeheartedly believe that Niagara Falls has been overlooked by New York State for far too long. The years of factories driving our economy are all but a shell of what they used to be. Tourism and small business are the lifeblood of Niagara Falls, and extending the tourist season for the benefits it would provide to those employed is a great idea, while also providing an asset for locals to use. However, the financing for this event center is still uncertain, as we've just discussed. The highest court in New York State has deemed that Niagara Falls is right in its use of eminent domain powers. I would be under the impression that state representatives and the governor's office are not only aware of the several court decisions that have went in the city's favor, but they're equally aware of the feasibility study's findings from this past month. With both of the aforementioned, I eagerly await the specified commitment of financing from New York State and private sector investors alike to come to fruition to assure that this legislative body and the residents of our city that the necessary funds for such a project are readily available. Again, I am for the concept of an event center to be built in our city, and I look forward to being present for the groundbreaking. However, until the financing details are finalized, I cannot support this resolution in front of us today. My vote is a no.
Chairman Perry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Chairman Perry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Chairman Perry. All I hear is young lady.
I know. Yes.
Thank you. 3 yeas and
Motion.
2 nays.
Motion's carried. Okay, action item number 14. May I have a motion, please?
I move the council vote to approve resolution relative to the City of Niagara Falls City Council deeming the application of 11th Street Properties LLC for a text amendment to the City of Niagara Falls zoning ordinance section 1319 complete and declaring its intent to act as lead agency for the State Environmental Quality Act review and determining that the application is a type 1 action.
May I have a second?
Second.
Information request. No. Okay. Opposition, and let me say, I have to go on record in opposition to this resolution. A little over 2 years ago, the council, some of you are sitting here right now, voted to protect the residents of the city from high-energy entities that would emit a lot of noise. This resolution, if it passed, would be the first step in undoing what that council did. With respect to the prior administration, I have to oppose this. We have members on this council that voted for noise limits, especially in certain areas of the city, and they fought to get this approved. So with that, I am going to oppose this proposition. Anybody want to speak for it?
No, I also just want to speak in regards to this resolution. We did a lot of work. Some of us are up here who were part of that with the community, and it took a long time to get that high energy usage overlay ordinance in place. There's also built in a process that can be followed to apply for a variance if any organization or company wishes to do so. So there is something there. There is a process in place, and that mechanism can be exercised by anybody. We've held other Bitcoin factories or Bitcoin operations. We've held their feet to the fire with this ordinance, and I don't feel it's time to undo what we've done in regards to this, especially since there is a mechanism in place to move forward. So that's why I will vote no.
Okay.
Mr. DuBois, just a quick question, just for clarification. The vote on this is just referring it to the planning board, correct? It would then have to come back to the council for us to vote on?
Yes, you're also designating yourselves as the secret.
Similar to the previous. Okay.
Okay.
So planning and then back to us, because if it's just the noise, it's no. We're sure.
This is the first step, that we go to the planning board. This is the first step, and we go to the planning board if we approve it, and the planning board would act on it, and then it would come back to us. But this is the first step in eliminating that noise ordinance that we have.
But it doesn't eliminate it right now.
It doesn't eliminate it right now, no, and that's what I said, it's a first step.
But we'd be agreeing to go down that pathway.
Okay.
So we don't, because the way I read it was like, we're saying you can have a variance, which means you can have more noise.
No.
That's the way I read it. So I read it incorrectly.
Correct.
We're-
Per Mr. DuBois, correct.
We are right now voting to go to planning, and planning will then send it back to us after they make a determination?
If the item is passed as written, it's just the first step. It would go to the planning board, for their analysis and hearings and whatnot. And then, depending on what they decide, it would come back to the council.
So when you say depending, what does that mean? What if, yeah.
Well, I can't predict how they would vote. They may not choose to move along either. But the important thing is that, however you want to vote, I wouldn't I wouldn't say you're under any pressure one way or the other. Vote however you wish on this item, either for or against, and let's just see where it goes.
I think it's more just not wanting to be biased against the business entity during the process. That's more of what I'm thinking. So if it's going to planning and then we have the opportunity for it to spin back, I'm okay with that because we can still, at that point, say no to whatever they're proposing. Okay.
All right, ready to call the vote?
Yeah.
All right.
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Do you have the mechanisms in place already? No.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac.
As is just a step in the procedure, yes.
Chairman Perry.
As I said before, this is undo what council's done 2 years ago, and I'd have to vote no to do that.
We have 3 yeas and 2 nays.
Okay, motion carried. Action item number 15. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, for item number 15, I move the council vote to approve resolution relative to authorizing the implementation and funding in the first instance of consultant engineering dedication program and eligible costs of a capital project and appropriating funds therefore.
May I have a second?
Second.
Information? Opposition? Debbie?
For item number 15, Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairman Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, motion carried. Item number 16. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve resolution relative to the appointment of a marriage officer.
May I have a second?
Second.
Information? Opposition? Deborah, please call the roll.
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Chairman Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, the motion is carried. All right, that concludes the legislative items. Moving on to Section 8, the public speakers. Please identify yourself when you come up to speak and your residency and what you're talking on. And with that, Liz, please call the first person.
You got it. The first person that signed up for good of the community, Joshua Lopez. Topic is good for the community.
Joshua Lopez, Niagara Falls. I'm here to speak on better of the community. I just want to say that I own Toys for Both Arcade Mania. I threw an event yesterday that had 10,000 plus people walk through my parking lot. 10,000. Not a police call, not a gunshot, not a fight, not one thing negative said on the internet, reviews. I woke up to 15,000 messages today thanking me what I've brought to this community. What I'm asking is, you guys are going to see me in front of you on July 23rd, and I'm asking, well, I've been made aware by Mr. Du Bois that I have to ask you guys for a pawn secondhand broker's license. I've been made aware from council people on this panel that you've never had to vote on that, but yet I'm having to be voted on for that. So I'm asking you next time, please vote yes for me. What I bring to this community is the very first independently owned and operated video game store and arcade in Niagara Falls history. History. All right, so you guys know your Niagara Falls history. There's been video game stores. There's been arcades, but not together and not ran by one man. 12 years I've been open. I have a Google review of 4.8 out of 871 reviews. I have an A++ BB rating. My rate of success for events and for my establishment is through the roof. What I want to bring to Niagara Falls City and history, period, is for the children. I'm not here for adults. I'm here for the children. These children have been, everything that has been presented to this board for children has been denied. I moved here 4 years ago. 12 years ago, I was homeless eating out of garbage cans. I had a dream and $300. 12 years later, I'm the largest video game store and arcade in New York State. All right? My worth 12 years ago was minus. Today, I'm worth $9.3 million. I would like to bring my knowledge and my success to Niagara Falls. All right? So I'm begging you, please approve my pawn secondhand broker's license on July 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. The second speaker for the good of the community is Lisa Galvin? Glavin, thank you. And good of the community.
Hello, my name is Lisa Glavin for the good of the community, resident of Niagara Falls. I wish when we talk to people, everybody would look and make eye contact. That would be really, really special. That would be really nice. So I took a good look at the proposed Centennial Park, and it looks like a fancy high park. Ask yourself, is Centennial Park going to draw and entice your friends and family to move back to Niagara Falls or stay in Niagara Falls? Are you going to take your families to the Centennial Park for what, one hockey game a year? Probably what we can afford. We live in Niagara Falls. We don't have a lot of money. What we could say, the mayor really left on his mark on the city. High Park is so nice now. The pool's updated as well as the splash pad. Whether you're cheering on the local teams, there's fireworks at night or concerts in the stadium. The old hockey rink is a state of art, bringing more tournaments and events. We don't need another event center. The duck pond has been cleared out, cleaned, and the paddle boats are for rent. Fish has been stocked. New fountain filtration system. The new updated walking path that goes all around the entire park. You don't have to walk in the street anymore. It's also here where you can see the bocce ball courts, the lawn bowling, the tennis, the pickleball courts, the basketball courts, and always in use. The playground and the pavilions are all cleaned up and very welcoming, as leading to the beautiful Veterans Memorial. This park is so gorgeous nowadays that it's something to do there all the time. I know, what about parking? Parking can be completed by using the school. Having a trolley that runs around the park all day long. You can park at the school, you can park at the golf course. I ask now that you read the Centennial Park proposal again. And then I want you to read my speech. Your voice changed, you got excited, you want to talk about it. You're welcome. I might not have the perfect solution, but I do know that we don't need another problem, that being Centennial Park. Let's get our families moving back and staying back. Vote no on the mayor's dream park. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Our next speaker is Frank Hannelly.
All right, so last week I had some illegal dumping happening at my home. Pulled up to my house Sunday evening and found trash, dirt, beds, chairs, wheelchairs, a mess of stuff. So that Monday I called 311, got attached, contact DPW, hey, put in the ticket. Sounded good. Called on a Friday to find out, hey, what's the status of the situation? Then they informed me, hey, let me tell you how this process works. Number one, we're gonna come make an assessment of the situation, okay? Then after we assess it, we're gonna give you 96 hours to clean it up. Then after that, we're gonna then fine you if you don't. And I was taken back by that. I said, you gotta be out of your mind. Why would you fine me for something that happened to me? Doesn't make sense. Therefore, cancel the ticket, I took care of it myself. But today, I'm sitting downtown by the Rainbow Mall. I see what I assume to be a DPW or the cleanup crew, because I see the blue and green garbage cans being pulled out of the Rainbow Mall. He pulls them out, he pulls out some wheels, so I'm assuming that he's the repairman for these garbage cans. Then I watch him sit for an hour and a half to have a conversation. So whatever he was supposed to be doing, he's not doing. And nobody's checking them. And some young lady, I don't know who she was, she rolled up on her trolley and they're having a conversation. Now I'm sitting here working, watching them talk for an hour and a half. So you're telling me that we only got 4 people for the cleanup crew, but one of them talking for an hour and a half. So we don't have people in place to do what needs to be done, but they can talk for an hour and 45 minutes. I would have been fired. I would have been let go. I would have been corrected. So somewhere in this structure of handling business, we need to vet to make sure our time and our money is being spent well. As an employer, if I found my employee wasting hours of my time, you have to go, and I got to find another. All I said to say is that there needs to be a system in place for those who cannot do what I had to do. Cut wood, break down pipes, break it in half to get rid of it. But there needs to be something in place that I may not be aware of it, that if it happens to an elderly, that, hey, we got something in place to handle this for you because it wasn't your fault. I got 30 seconds, you ain't gonna like me now. Because if this continues, you'll find it on your city property. I didn't have a lawyer to do so. I would have brought it to City Hall. But clearly, there's a little bit of integrity here. But if this continues and there's no structure or concept to compensate situations such as these, you'll find it on your property. And that's a real thing. Try it.
Thank you, Frank. Our next speaker is Geraldine Sankley. Is that it? I can't tell if that's a K, L. Sankey, thank you.
I just want, Geraldine Sankey. I reside here in Niagara Falls, New York. I just want to give kudos to the owner of I took my grandkids to his place of business today, and boy, they had a good time there. And I'm just so thankful to Mr. Lopez. I'm so thankful because we don't have anything here for our kids. And they taking funding away from their summer programs and stuff, so they don't really have anything to do. And I appreciate him so much because I have my 3 grandkids here from Michigan, and there's nothing for them to do. But I was so grateful that he was able to, and I'm so thankful for him. I'm so thankful for you, son. You keep up the good work. They might not appreciate you here like Perry. Never looks at a person when they talk. Stay on his phone. And I told Droopy here, the lawyer, he need to be fired.
Ma'am.
Don't come here with that.
We're not here to
listen. Let me.
We're not. Ma'am, please, we're not.
No. You let me. You sit here and you let your family, your wife,
ma'am.
come against all these people that are disturbing. You didn't open your mouth up now one time and tell them to be quiet. So don't you dare.
Ma'am, one more time. Yeah, one more time, you don't attack the attorney or anybody else here.
The next speaker for the good of the community is Robert Ventry.
Still working? Hello, good evening. Is it on? There it goes. Hello, residents. Good evening, Robert Ventry of Niagara Falls. Overgrown grass on vacant lots can be more than just an eyesore. It can attract pests, lower neighborhood values, and even violate local laws. This happens yearly in the same areas. High grass lines a large number of our streets in the downtown area. Most of them are is almost as high as this podium. This has been going on. This has been a problem going on for years. Some of the vacant lots sold by the city last year that were sold, they were sold to out-of-town owners, and they are not cutting grass. I believe the city should take them back. It's time we start finding solutions for these problems. A start can be by adding more money to the DPW budget for temporary workers, possibly around $200,000. Hire 10 people, increase the pay to $20 an hour. It's 17 now. Maybe that's why you can't find anybody. And have two temporary neighborhood, two clean teams at 4 people a team, 2 temporary neighborhood inspectors. Hire them to work May through September. Our neighborhoods are important. It's time we start investing in them. Main Street could use some help also. High weeds are around the buildings, high grass. It has seen better days. And most of these buildings are the ones that the city just bought or are in charge of now. Additionally, many of the city right-of-ways are blocked by high grass and bushes. It's a dangerous situation. It's making it hard for people on bikes and walking to see cars coming. It also makes it hard for people driving to see people walking and on bikes. City right-of-ways should never be blocked. These areas should be cut as soon as possible, such as 18th Niagara Avenue, 21st Street and Center Avenue. You can't see nothing if you're making a right turn. This is a chance you're taking. 24th and Walnut, 11th and Niagara Avenue, 18th and South, and 22nd Niagara Avenue. Clear right-of-ways are essential for safety, accessibility, and for the community flow. These right-of-ways should never be blocked. They create dangerous situations for pedestrians. These areas should be clear as soon as possible and addressed quickly. In closing, the new street lights look nice. It was said changes will be made to the lights once they are installed. Hopefully some of the changes that we made will be installing brighter lights on Niagara Avenue, also on 18th Street between Whitney and Ontario Avenue, and on Ferry Avenue, and 22nd between Pine and Ontario Avenue. The lights on Main Street look nice. They're nice and bright. They should put the same lights on Niagara Falls Boulevard. The lights they put on the boulevard are pretty dull, and that's a busy street. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Our next speaker is Anita, and I will butcher it, so I'm going to let her say it.
Hello, good evening. My name is Anita Hartunian. I'm a Niagara Falls resident. In light of this holiday weekend, I would like to discuss something that is positive in the community. So I feel like it's appropriate to bring light and talk about the Veterans Treatment Court. I hold a degree in psychology and chemical dependency counseling. I'm also a mentor for Niagara County Veterans Treatment Court, which is located in Niagara Falls City Court. There's also a Veterans Treatment Court located in Buffalo. Here's a little bit about the Veterans Treatment Court. The Veterans Treatment Court helps veteran defendants who are charged with felony or misdemeanor nonviolent criminal offense to a specialized criminal court docket. Veterans are identified through evidence-based screening and assessments. They voluntarily participate in a judicially supervised treatment plan that they develop with a team of court staff, veteran healthcare professionals, veteran peer mentors, healthcare professionals, and mental health professionals. Veterans Treatment Court achieves positive veteran behavior by providing links to substance abuse or substance use services, mental health services, academic and vocational skills improvement services, residential and housing assistance, outpatient and or transition support, and job placement and job retention services. One unique component about the Veterans Treatment Court is that the Veteran Mentor Group is a successful results-driven and veteran-focused program organized as a separate nonprofit organization and driven by volunteers in the community, veteran volunteers. Operating under the slogan, leave no veteran behind. Our volunteer mentors maintain a unique role in the courtroom, working directly with veteran treatment court participants in a facilitator, advisor, sponsor, and supporter role. I just want to get the information out there. So if you know any veterans that got in trouble this weekend, you know, party weekend, they may be eligible for Veterans Treatment Court, which is a positive resource for our veterans in Erie and Niagara County. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Our next speaker is Janine Gallo. I don't know what that says. Sorry, love.
Janine Gallo,
2,070
okay,
people. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, I don't even know where to begin, but let's start with Tom's great speech about the dog shelter. All the hoo-has and everything. It averaged 65 dogs for decades, and now it's down to 10, and it's not even full. It only costs $10,000 a month, no liability for Niagara Falls, no nothing, and it's doing super. Even though even the dog warden goes away on vacation, it's still doing super. I vote that you keep it and give the $5 million to the after-school programs and everything else Niagara Falls needs, because if the dog park shelter is doing that great right now, why would you change it? I would keep it. Keep it! Okay, now the DPW, I have no strings attached. I don't live in Niagara Falls. All I hear is people ripping the DPW to pieces. But the DPW, the garbage people sucked, and you gave them 5 extra years, okay? But the DPW is supposed to fix all the totes that they break. The DPW is doing this. Let me tell you something about the DPW, and I don't even know, again, no one's filling my pockets. I was driving here, and the DPW was cutting the lawn at 5:30 this evening at the park. So, again, I don't know the DPW, I don't even know somebody that works there, but they take a lot of shit from everybody. Now, as far as the dog shelter, you should have a dog shelter. It should be run by the city. You had a police station that looks like crap right across the street. Why didn't you knock that down for $4.5 million and build a dog shelter? Okay, you have the room there. You paid for it before. There's plenty of things. Now the lawn cutting. You're paying $17,000 for these lawn cuts, all these things, and then you give people things away. Give the properties. The properties you bought, you're going to end up giving them to somebody, the LLC for $2, and then you're going to waive all these fees. Why don't you hire the DPW to do that and maybe hire extra? The money you're paying people, give them extra help. And accountability, don't blame the employees that work for the DPW, and let's go to the top that should be here explaining why they can't do things and why they can and can't do things, okay? But let's not just rip one department to shreds when we should start with the mayor. Now, before I forget, hold on. I mean, this is just a joke. Last council meeting, you gave 10 parcels. And you thought, oh, she doesn't know the mayor, she doesn't know the mayor. And you gave 10 parcels to a lady that he convinced you that she would fix all 10 because she needed the other half of the money. Do your math. The 4 that she keeps, the other 6 she could throw to the street. Who cares? She's going to make a lot of money. She doesn't need the state to give her to match it. Okay. Then when you gave it to her, she goes and hugs Perry's family and then goes upstairs with Perry. So she didn't know the mayor. She knew Mr. Perry. Boom.
Okay, our last speaker is Tanya Barone, and the topic is community.
Good Lord. Where do I begin? The administrative update. Are they really administrative updates? I see them more as attacks previous to this one today. I feel like, unfortunately, Mr. Dubois has made the administrative updates into personal attacks to solve grievances with Mr. Miles. And I'll be honest, that does not look good for the residents that are sitting here in the seats who are obviously frustrated to sit and listen to the back and forth. And I'm not saying anything. Mr. Miles needs to defend himself because this is personal attacks, and that's how we see it. That should not be solved here. So please leave the administrative updates to just that. As far as the Centennial Park, I didn't get to finish what I was saying about that, but I think it just about sums it up tonight. I'm feeling the same way most people feel. Centennial Park is a disaster waiting to happen. It's poor planning. It's a blanket statement. Like I said before, the feasibility study seems like an absolute joke. We're not going to get OHL hockey here once it's built. It's like saying, build it and they'll come. That's not the case. And what's the ransom that we'll have to pay to get that team here? Do we really want to watch a bunch of kids that are amateurs running around, you know, with hockey, chasing a ball or chasing a puck? No, we can go to NU for that. We can go to Hyde Park for that. Let's utilize what we have. We could have concerts right at Sal Magley when it's not being used for a game. How about that? We can put money and invest it right into Hyde Park to get our tourists to come there and make that there's some attraction there. Maybe we'll have weddings there. We can maybe do some arbors and decorate it, make a rose garden and have marriage ceremonies there, a nice walking path that's decorated. I mean, we can do some things like that with what we have, but we need to concentrate on what we have and not try to throw this mess into it. When are we going to come into the future and stop being stuck in the past? We can go to Buffalo for a concert. We can go to Toronto for a concert. We can go to Hyde Park, Art Park, the casino. If our kids want to play in a pool, we got pools. Whether they're open or not, that's a different story. Whether they're working or not, that's a different story. But we have things we can utilize here without taking our taxpayer dollars and increasing our taxes.
Thank you, Tanya.
Let's do something right this time, please.
That was our last speaker for the good of the community.
Meeting's adjourned.
Meeting's adjourned.